Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mark from Solo Games, and today we're back with videos. I know it's been like 5 years, 10 years. Okay, it's only been like 2 weeks since I made a Magic video, but to be fair, that was an interview and all that stuff. Honestly, life has just been super busy. It's not like I'm, creating some secret videos, and I wish I could tell you that I was practicing Grand Archive, and if even that's not true because work's just been kicking my ass. That's how all it is. But we're back. We're gonna talk about some Magic news, Magic information. So let's begin. So, as you probably noticed on my channel, I have not been opening mass box opening the last couple sets, partially because things have gotten a little bit busy with, shifting in how I'm running my business. Solo Games is changing in a lot of different ways. The other part of it too is honestly, I'm spending more of my time in Grand Archive playing the game. Right now, I'm kind of on this path to, I don't know, not professionally, but like seriously play the game. Whereas, with Magic, I just kind of draft with friends, very low cost, low commitment type of ordeal. But with Grand Archive, it has actually been a little bit more serious. I've been, I don't know, more or less practicing, brewing, doing a bunch of different type of things like that, which does take more time. And of course, family, all the things that's kind of your IRL stuff that's not related to content creation, video making, business, all that stuff. I try to stay busy. Honestly, being busy just makes me happy. It is what it is, right? For example, right now it's like 12:30 and I'm making this video and I think I got 2 more to go. But you can see I'm pretty energetic guy. It's 12:30. I'm pretty happy, spry. Anyways, it's gonna be a long day tomorrow. All right, okay, all right. It's not about Mark's life. This is not the video for that. We're gonna talk about Throne of Eldraine. So I have not looked at Magic for a long time. I did draft Throne of Eldraine at least once. I've opened some packs. I've done a couple sealed events. And my general feeling for the set is actually it's Wilds of Eldraine. We're not in the Throne anymore. Wilds of Eldraine. My general feeling for the set is actually pretty good. It's really fun. I do like the variety of the draft. I do like the fact that you can go into many colors in this set, whereas previous sets definitely felt more two-color focused. The mechanics of the set is kind of interesting. I do like rolls in general. I don't like how it's hard to track, but I do like the concept of having like an enchantment token. I like the fact that enchantments are, enchantment matters in Eldraine. That's really fun. Of course, from a value perspective, EV, all that stuff, having a lot of really cool enchantment reprints in the list slot, basically, that's insanely cool, right? And so just so, people understand, back in the old school days of Magic, a lot of players, other than Time Spiral and some of these special sets, you didn't have a chance to get older cards. There was no reprints or like list slots. And now we have the list with every single set. There's a large set of cards that are available that's usually very playable, very good for, gameplay. Then, of course, with, other sets like now, there's always these added inserted cards, even now in the draft pack. So this started, I think, with Strixhaven, with the Mystical Archives, but, like Brothers War, you have the retro artifacts. Now we have enchantments with Eldraine. Plethora of chances to get extra cards, which always is good. Now, one of the challenges, of course, is when they start printing more value into the actual enchantment slot, they do have to adjust the actual cards in the set. And maybe this is where Blizzard is trying to, in some ways, kind of power down their sets. Now, if you recall, when Wizard of the Coast changed their whole, the philosophy of standard rotation from a 2-year rotation to a 3-year rotation, Wilds of Eldraine was not accounted for that. So within that calculation, Wilds of Eldraine was not accounting for this 3-year rotation. So of course they designed this set with expectation that Crimson Vow, those kind of sets, Midnight Hunt, etc., were already out of rotation and we will be in a different standard by now. That's not true, which is maybe shifting how this set feels in its power level, right? Versus had it been the new set coming into a block that just rotated. That being said, though, it is very disappointing right now that if you look at all the pricing of Wilds of Eldraine, it's basically a mythic or bust set. And even a mythic, you really have to hit 2 mythics basically that are really where the money is. It's basically you're going to have to hit a Cauldron or the Mirror. Otherwise, everything else is in the $5, $6, $7 range. Some 2, some are 0 or very low. So there's that. The rare slot, there are some cards, of course, but I mean, just today when I checked, there was like I think 3 cards now above the $1 range. But like just a couple days ago, there was like 1 card, maybe 2. And of course, you have Up the Beanstalk, which is like the uncommon that's like, wrecking older formats. But aside from that, really nothing significant in the uncommon slot either. Maybe 2 other cards. So all in all, the money is basically in these, special mythic rares, or kind of like the showcase versions of the same mythic rare, or in these the reprints, the enchantment reprints, right? And that is kind of the problem with Eldraine, I think. A lot of players, are going to kind of like, if they want to open for value, really where the real money is you have to open not just the enchantments, right? You have to also open the anime version. And this is the thing, like, look, I'm not a weeb. Am I a weeb? This is really confusing, right? Like, I do like some anime, but I'm not as in deep as some other people and now I've known. But like Grand Archive level anime is like really, really high detail, really cool looking anime. I'll tell you, like, the Magic version is not that. It's anime, but I feel like sometimes it just feels like it's slapped together, very low quality. They didn't really try. Like, there's a difference between drawing a character, having like really, like, okay, the best way to put it, I think, is like, it's like character building, right? Like anime, artwork, whatever, should have character building in artwork, not necessarily in, in narrative, in literature, but it's in artwork. I felt like a lot of the Magic cards, because Magic doesn't have a core in this anime fantasy type of thing, it doesn't really, it's not easy to just make anime version of it. Now, I will say the War of Spark anime versions, Planeswalkers, were pretty cool. Because again, there were anime renditions of Planeswalker that we know. Whereas kind of like the random anime art inside Wilds of Eldraine just kind of doesn't make any sense. Now, had they done like, I don't know, like maybe fairy tale, Arthurian legend type of things of anime art, or just do like, for example, draw like Arthur in anime art, or draw, I don't know, like Hansel and Gretel in anime art, or, Snow White, I think that would have been a lot more interesting, my personal opinion, right? Than this like randomly put some anime art in there. Ideally, you'll like it. But regardless of what I think, a lot of people are going for these artwork. I think like the Bitter Blossom is pretty high up there. Of course, the Smothering Tithe and, these kind of cards. Personally, I don't like the Bitter Blossom anime art. I think it's kind of stupid. I don't even know what I'm looking at. I guess it's like a fairy kind of lying down on a flower. It doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't speak anything to me. There's a lot of other Bitter Blossom artwork that I think are way better than this art. Just, my personal opinion. But that's where the money is, right? So if you open a foil anime artwork version of the enchantments that are in high demand, of course, it's worth a lot. Of course, if you get the confetti foil, then that's even better. This is just the whole thing, right? And the unfortunate part, of course, is all this like special confetti foil, whatever foiling is all in the collector's booster, which really is just people who are opening for value. Of course, if you're doing that, you better hit one of those, because everything else in the box is basically zero, because all the rares are nothing, commons are nothing. Uncommons, you have to hit like 3 cards. Rares, you have to hit 3 cards. It's pretty hard, right? And I think like, I want to say Midnight Hunt or Crimson Vow felt like this too, but it wasn't as bad as this. This is pretty bad, especially out of the gates, and I did wait like a couple weeks because I was making sure it's not just the like falling prices right after release. I mean, we're about 2-3 weeks from release now, I think 4 maybe even, and the prices are still low. So that tells me that these are actually just undesirable, and all the money is inside the anime stuff, is inside the mythic rares and a couple rares. It's rough. All right, so here's where I think about long-term for Eldraine. Personal opinion, I think the set is going to do pretty well long-term, and that's because of 2 factors. Number one, the set drafts pretty well. It plays pretty well. People are going to like it. Remember, rotation didn't happen. It was supposed to happen, but it didn't. Now, what's going to happen when Crimson Vow, Midnight Hunt rotates out, and these cards become more powerful, essentially because those cards are no longer in play, right? That will be kind of interesting. So there are a lot of cards, I'm sure, in Eldraine that are currently just sleepers, in my opinion. So if you have single cards, I mean, like I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if they're like bulk rares, don't sell them. Just keep them, right? You won't know which card is going to kind of like pop up once rotation hits, once some other meta gets discovered, once the next set drops, right? There's a lot of factors that's going to really affect this. Long term for sealed product, I like the artwork. I like the cards. I think, I'm in agreement with a lot of other players out there that the showcase frame for Eldraine is probably one of the best looking ones. For me personally, my favorite ones are going to be Eldraine, and I think I really like the Kaldheim ones, right? The Celtic, spirals and things like that. Those two showcase frames are my favorite, but Eldraine ones are better because of the whole storybook, the little adventure piece on the bottom. It's really, really good, right? So personal opinion, I think the set's going to do really well long term. Number two reason for why I think it will do well is really about print run. Now, of course, Wizard of the Coast will never release any information on print run or whatever. But I think one of the things that has been a little bit clear to WotC now, if not, this set, maybe next set, is that players are getting tired and players are feeling like the pressure with respect to hey, too much product, whatever. And I can tell because as I look at numbers from distribution, as I look at number for sales at stores, etc., I can see some sets are selling worse than others, right? And there's too much product, and a lot of players are saving money for Doctor Who. They're saving money for the Lord of the Rings re-release at the end of the year. Caves at Ixalan's coming up. I mean, there's a lot of different sets still incoming before the end of the year, and we're in October basically now, and we still have 3 more sets to go, right? So you can see a lot of players are feeling fatigued too. Their wallets being shrunk. And so this could signal a smaller print run for Eldraine. If not this set, next set. But I'm starting to think that Wizard of the Coast is actually internally thinking about adjusting numbers. Because I think whatever they're doing right now is not sustainable. They understand it's not sustainable long term. But I wonder though, right? If what they do is adjust print runs or something else. So I guess maybe number 2 is not a great reason for you to hold sealed product. And I don't know about all the people who think sealed investing is dead and all that stuff. Personally, I'm not saying it's dead, but I do see the problem, which is you can see they quickly discount all of their booster boxes through either Amazon, Secret Lairs, or whatever other format where they can go direct to consumer and sell it for much cheaper than going through the whole distribution channel, which means distributors, LGSs pretty much get slammed if you actually have the product, right? So there's that. I think that's all I'll say about Eldraine. I think it's a fun set. If you like the set, just like every single Magic set I've been saying recently, buy the cards, buy the set. You'll have fun drafting it, whatever, playing. But if you're chasing for value, I would avoid this set for sure. This is not the set to do it. In fact, I actually think there's a lot more opportunity in the Lord of the Rings set, especially recently with, I think there's kind of a glut. And this is why I'm saying the print run thing, right? Because Lord of the Rings set, I see actually a glut inside distribution. I see some distributors discounting some boxes. I see the sales slowing down because, again, more of the money is moving to new sets, and there's still 3 more incoming. Eldraine just came out, so less money is going to be in the Lord of the Rings set, which, in my opinion, is a much better set, especially given the value, if you're opening for value. But for gameplay, I think Eldraine's great. So there's that. That's going to do for me for today. I hope this is a good comeback video. Again, it's not anything special. We're not saying doom and gloom, the world's ending or anything like that. But we're going to stay classy. So I'll see you next time.